What's up? BigHerc916, positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know, we do it over here. You know, I was listening to some stuff about Epstein's background, Jeffrey Epstein, right? And Ghislaine Maxwell, and then the P. Diddy case, the Abercrombie and Fitch case, and what all these different sex cases involved. And you kind of come to almost the same conclusion, right? That are these cases investigated and then used to cover up what's the real case? And what I mean by that is, if you bring something to light because you want it to overshadow what's in the dark, what's in the dark goes away. So whatever videos or recordings, audio wise or what have you, that was maybe associated with the Epstein case, Ghislaine Maxwell case, once it's ran through the system, it no longer has any social bearing because it stops there, and the people allegedly responsible are dealt with, right? And it's business as usual. You think about even the P. Diddy situation, right? What did you really find out besides this man loves to get his freak on and hit on women and be a cuck? Okay, you pay for prostitution. But that wasn't even really what was supposed to be the main topic for that. You guys all forgot. It was the videotapes. It was the fact that he was also recording and doing the same thing Epstein was doing, but in the hip hop and entertainment industry. Everybody forgot about that. They got so caught up on the Punisher, hitting Cassie, and, P. Diddy doing his thing over there in the corner, spanking his thing and all. They forgot about the videotapes, man. They said he had yachts and different properties that had video and audio tape throughout them, right? And so-called the tapes were removed. They didn't find none of them, or they confiscated a few of them. I mean, they lied so much we don't know what they really found. But he was doing the same thing. So when you think about the rise of certain people and why certain people can make it to a certain level, they got to have something on them, control them. They don't want you getting up there and they can't control you. You got a big mouth. You maybe have a change of moral compass. You start feeling bad about some of the stuff you've seen, or you have a change of heart. Man, shit. We either gonna knock you down your finances, set you up with one of those old R cases, or you're gonna have some type of accident. You're gonna take your life. That's the game. When it's all said and done, if you don't want to play, then that's what's gonna happen. But if you play right, we can make you disappear, and you can go and live somewhere else with another identity. You still got money, and you still got some assets. I mean, think about, they said 2 days before Epstein so-called hung himself, roughly 600 million moved from his account. Who's moving money in his account 2 days before this man allegedly hangs himself from a bunk bed? Diddy was chilling in New York at a park, not worried about anything before they arrested him. And because of his status, he's not going to go to a USP. He's not going to even go to a medium. He's going to most likely go to a camp. 5 years, he'll go to a camp, man. He'll be the man at the camp. These are basically public sacrifices. This is your initiation, right? This is your ritual that you have to go through for playing the game. I mean, not everybody gets away scot-free. You want to play the billionaire game and you're not part of the families, you're not a part of uh, the bloodlines. See, you got the bloodlines, right? They don't have to go through all that because, they inherit, and, you're a cousin of so-and-so or uncle or distant relative, and they're all interrelated. And they just change your last name. You think, wow, that guy, man, how'd he make it? You don't have any idea that he's connected through somebody that's already set all this shit up. But they want to keep hope. They want to let us believe that the average person, if you just work hard, do the right thing, you will become one of them. And there have been people who have become successful. You don't hear about them because they're smart enough to be low key, but the whole dream is for you to believe. And if you believe, you go to the sporting events, you go to the concerts, you'll go and participate in their politics. They need you to believe. If you didn't believe in what they have going on, their shit would crumble on its face. If you didn't put your money in the bank, if you didn't buy into certain luxury brands, if you didn't go and praise these people at their functions, they wouldn't have no ticket sales. They would have no status. It's all based on the regular, what they consider regular people to believe in their bullshit. We're in a damn simulation. It's some bullshit. If you get emotional if you don't have a certain watch, if you don't drive a certain car, if you don't wear certain shoes, everything's based on your self-worth. And they're the ones who create that. The race thing, the difference between, where you're from, where I'm from, all that shit is about controlling the masses because it's a handful of rich people who basically run the world. They said 10% of the population over here is invested in the stock market. What is everybody else doing? Buying whatever. The stock market, I think that whole thing was created so that people could not work and invest and basically, and then, at times when they want to shift the wealth, they'll basically tank that, get a bunch of people who thought they were part of the group and let them and laugh about it. And then when it goes all to nothing, they buy it up and then blow it back up again. It's a game they play, man. Just like when they make somebody a star and then they knock their ass down. They get you caught up with one of their plants, one of their molds, one of these little females that somebody you thought was really down for you, but she's nothing but an agent. And they line her up against you. You don't see these dudes, man. Some of these dudes, you see them with these females, you're like, dude, really? And the females, you're like, oh, and some of them, some of them are of status, but they're there to monitor you as you go up on your rise, as you ascend, because they have a role for you. And your role, if you're very popular, if you're influential, they got to control that. If you do not do what they ask you to do or endorse or do certain things, and you're in a position where you have a lot of influence, they gotta publicly humiliate you and try to destroy your character so that people lose faith in you because they can't control you. It's a control game. This whole game is control, man. Why do you think they price out some of these schools where you can't go, your kids can't go there, and they send you to public schools that look like mini prisons, mini jails, fences everywhere, barbed wire, some of these, they got metal detectors. Why do you think they do that? Because you're not like them, they think. I'm not saying you want to be like them, but they have no sympathy. They don't care. But then when they need something, they damn sure make sure you guys want to keep paying your taxes. Make sure you guys keep wanting to aspire to buy their products and work for them. But they always look like you're not one of them. It's a cold game, man. And the more you dig, the deeper you go, the more you find out all these people are interrelated. Second and third cousins at the most. And then, they bring in, like I say, if you're talented, maybe you can play football, dunk a basketball, maybe you can sing well. They bring you in, but then they always have something over you. They bring that guy in, he's basketball. Oh man, he's, blah, blah, blah. Set him up with her. Next thing you know, you're out of pocket. We got a video with you doing something you shouldn't have been doing. Or you're a singer. Oh, okay. When it gets time, we want your publishing. We let you build up a hell of a catalog, and we're going to take your publishing. You want to be a rapper? Okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. We'll set you up with this broad, but then we need you to start talking about Satan. We need you to start talking about some bullshit, just some really wild. We need you to get demonic. We have you infiltrate to keep the people so we can get your energy, bring your followers, Followers, influencers, it's energy, man. They feed off the energy. Without the energy, they're nothing. You ever see these people? Most of them are decrepit. You see them getting out of these nice cars. They're tore up. Their health is shit. They're steady. They're always in need of organs, but they need the people to feed off of to keep them in a position where they feel they're empowered. These people are really, what are they? They're not the ones physically active, physically that attractive, physically doing anything, but they run the financial systems and they tell you that they can help you manage your money while they turn around and if they want to steal your shit. And once you wisen up, if you do wise up, they got to make sure that you don't wake up the other ones. Man, look at Michael Jackson, look at Prince, man. Michael Jackson, they tried to destroy that man. I don't know him personally. The allegations, people said all kind of stuff, but come to find out, Michael Jackson owned over 50% of Sony. Prince had masters, music vaults that had who knows how much music, and they know that's value because they can make money. They can make money. They ain't got to work. They live off of you. There's people in the music industry whose families have never did anything but pimped off of people who had a voice. You think about that? It's just like saying, okay, you got to negotiate this deal, but you got to go through this agent. And you're like, what does he do? Well, he talks to this guy, they're buddies, and whatever you do, he gets a cut. And that's how the game goes. And you go out here and you assert yourself. You physically do what you do or whatever you do, and we're going to make sure you get the best deal. You hear about it all the time, all these athletes. Oh, man, I didn't know my accountant, man, my manager, my agent, blah, 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 then stole all kind of money, man. The game is vicious, bro, but it's about control. It's about controlling energy, controlling power. The more you dig, the more you find out who knows who. These people like pretend, oh, man, blah, 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 and they're doing deals together. You're not included in the deal, but you're a product of the deal because they're eating off of whatever you bring to the table, and you just got to wisen up. That's, I've seen it front and clear when I went to court, and you see the prosecutor and your attorney chummying up, and you're thinking like, damn, they're chummying up. What is that about? And then they're telling you to take this deal or do this or, and you start bringing up stuff. They're like, well, who's telling you this? They don't want you to get any game. So you guys got to research. You got to read. You got to study history. The more you start reading and studying, and I say it to do that so you're more knowledgeable going forward. That way you can be in control and not be played, because the game is about you staying basically a subject to these people who run shit so that they can continue to control you, man. And as you rise up and you get more knowledge, you become more free. You have that light bulb starts clicking. But then you get a lot of people, they start, getting a little something, man, and they sell totally out. Like I said, you see them, they start doing weird ass satanic stuff. They start, promoting things that are very dark and negative in nature, but they're getting the bag. They become very exploitive. And I've been there because I was, like I said, worked in a particular industry, and you're like, wow, man, as get older and wiser, you start thinking about, what was that really about? I kick game to keep you guys laced up, man, because youth is a commodity, and the more you know, the younger you are. And you guys nowadays, there's so many different ways you can come up, and you ain't got to be subjected to that. You don't even have to really go to regular school, and you can become a multimillionaire now because of trades and crypto and investments and all this stuff right on your phone. You ain't got to get out here and rob anybody or anything, and you can come up. But just know that as you move up and you start dealing with certain people, be conscious of how these people interpret you and whether or not you could trust. And before you start just, involving yourself in certain things, because this shit is all about control. It's all about power. If you're not a part of a certain group, basically they could do anything to you. If they rip you off, it's a bonus for what they believe in, So get gamed up, man, and just know a little bit about history. I know a lot of you don't care about history and think, oh man, whatever that happened in the past. No, if you know that what you've been told is bullshit, it just puts you more consciously aligned with understanding what's going on now, because then what's going on now will make more sense because you realize you've been fed some bullshit. Because they feed us a lot of bullshit. A lot of the shit they taught us in history. I mean, dude, I always wonder why they never talked about the dollar bill in class. You ever look at all the symbolism and the pyramids and the all CNI and the Coeptus on the you ever looked at all the stuff on the dollar bill? What does it mean? All the Egyptian, all the Latin. What is all that? You ever thought about why they never talked to you about that? Come on, man. You start reading, man, and the only place you could really get these type of answers is from somebody who's been through the system, because there's books passed around the people who in there who are what I consider like the scholars inside the system, because they woke up. They found some things that have kind of touched their soul. But other than like mainstream, man, a regular college camp, they're not going to talk about that shit, man. They're not going to talk about the creature of Jekyll Island. They're not going to talk about Behold the Pale Horse. They're not going to talk about, the Black Pope, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Society, Bohemian Grove. They're not going to talk about none of that. And the initiation, why they clown certain people a certain way. And then you look at these people, if they do it because they want to be something here while they're here living in this material world, they want to be somebody, so they're willing to do whatever it takes. And that's a part of their sacrifice. You got to sacrifice something today, God. They said Jesus Christ died for our sins, but if you don't believe in Jesus Christ and you believe in something else, then you got to make a sacrifice, homie. What is your sacrifice? BigHerc916. Subscribe, share the channel, leave a comment, let me know what you think.
The popos are coming. I gotta hurry up and wash my ass. Go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up a bar of soap, and wash your ass, or else you're gonna be under arrest too. Oh, shit. 16 store and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that BigHerc916 has authored. You know how we do it.